Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are placed. And thank you once more for attending this session today. And we will cover today for the FEM 2024 updates, the energy and greenhouse gas emission section. So again, as a bit of background for myself, and as you remember from yesterday, my name is Sandra Teixeira. I have a chemical engineer degree and a master's degree in energy engineering. I have more than 24 years of experience in the textile industry, which 11 of those years was spent in the field, in the wet processing. So I was also involved in researching during my master degree years, also quality assurance, developing new products as team manager in a Portuguese retail brand, and also worked as chemical sales engineer. In the past few years, since 2018, I've been doing environmental audits across several countries in Europe, as well in Latin America, that will include the energy and water assessment and also chemical risks assessment. Just a note regarding this webinar, that during the webinar, the audience will be muted in order to ensure the best audio quality. But in any case, feel free to address your questions that you may have during this presentation, that at the end of the session, we will reply to them. And you can send your questions via the Q&A function here shown in the screen, and type your questions there and send. After these sessions, we will send you an email with a link both for the video recording and the presentation itself. Also, please remember that these materials are copyrighted by Cascale and Leadership and Sustainability, so please don't share them outside your organization. They are for your own use only. For today, the agenda that we have, as we had already the welcome and the LES introduction, also we will have just a brief look into the FEM introduction, FEM 4.0. Then we will dive into section 3, energy and greenhouse gas emission, and also we'll have an overlook on the quantitative data in Higg FEM 4.0. Also some information additional about it, added value and implementing the Higg FEM, and about leadership and sustainability. Again, and looking into the FEM 2024 cadence overview, and here we can see just a reminder when you can purchase your modules that are available from November 2024 until October 2025. This period is the period to purchase your modules. Then the assessment or self-assessment can be done since November 2024 until the December 2025. And the posting is allowed from January 2025 until December 2025. Please note that if you wish to have your self-assessment with content locked for benchmarking, this is only possible until the 30th of April of 2025. And the verifications will take place since January 2025 until December 2025. So again, and the changes from FEM 4.0 in the cadence 2024. So these changes in the environmental facility module represent a significant step towards advancing and how you can measure, report, and improve environmental performance across the textile, apparel, footwear industries. So these updates are designed to refine the assessments, process, and enhance the accuracy of your data, and align the framework more closely with more global sustainability goals, and also the regulatory expectations. So here, looking at the energy and greenhouse gas emission, as you may know, the largest man-made source of air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions from energy are from energy production and energy use. So in order to take climate change as the most severe human, environmental and economic risks into consideration, governments may impose more stringent requirements and regulations. So if your facility reduces its energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions, it will help to reduce its exposure to such regulatory risks and requirements, but it will also be a safe cost for your companies and facilities. So the energy section in the Higg FEM promotes the implementation of successful energy program and evaluates the facility progress. Here, as we saw yesterday, we have the 7 impact areas where you can declare and report your data, the site info and permits, the environmental management system that we have covered in the session yesterday, the energy and greenhouse emissions that will be our focus today, the water use, the wastewater, the air emissions, the waste, and the chemical management. Since every section consists of 3 levels you can reach during your assessment, here we will guide you through the energy and greenhouse gas emission levels, where the questions are divided into different levels, level 1, level 2, and level 3. And here we can see that in the Cadence 2024, 1 new sub-question were added to question 6. So this is the new add in the Cadence 2024. The questions that are underlined are the questions that were new adds in the Cadence 2023. So we can see level 1 is 1 questions, level 2 and level 3 remain the same. So energy production and energy use, as you know, are the largest man-made sources of air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. So in this section, energy and greenhouse gas emissions encourage you to identify and understand which types of energy use you are using at your facility, to understand what operations and process at your facility use the most energy consumption, to track and report the quality of energy consumption at your facility, and to calculate scope 1, 2, and scope 3 greenhouse gas emissions. Also to evaluate, to plan and adopt solutions to reduce energy and greenhouse gas emissions through better manufacturing processes. The energy is used throughout the manufacturing facilities for various operations and production activities, as you may know, and these energy sources are grouped into 3 categories, and they are the purchase energy, the renewable energy, and the non-renewable energy that you may be using at your own facilities. The greenhouse gas emissions, as you are the Earth's atmospheric that absorb and trap some of Earth's outgoing radiation, so maintaining the Earth's temperature, and these are the called greenhouse effect. So the energy generation and use, the transportation, the use of refrigeration gases, and other activities produce greenhouse gas emissions that harm the environment. So greenhouse gas emissions are categorized into 3 different groups or scopes, sorry. So scope 1 emissions that are direct emissions from your own or controlled sources. Then you have scope 2 emissions that are emissions, indirect emissions from the generations of purchased energy or consumption, and the scope 3 emissions that are all the other emissions that occur in the company's value chain. Having a summary or overview of the new questions or the new ads from the Cadence 2023, there are questions regarding the enhanced certification and emission factor tracking, like the biomass certification, to separate greenhouse gas emission factor tracking for power and heat sources, the company vehicles energy sources that should be separated. Also the carbon offset and energy use tracking, like carbon offset purchasing, energy use tracking, domestic and production energy distinction, and separate also renewable and non-renewable energy reporting. Also having energy audits and fossil fuels phase out, energy audit, in this case you will need energy audit records, fossil fuel phase out plans, and financial analysis of switching these energy sources. Also regarding the science-based targets and renewable energy implementation, like the science-based targets approval status for science-based targets, replacing fossil fuels with new renewables. And we have here a selection of questions from energy and greenhouse gas emission, level 1, and one of the questions is question 2, related to the energy sources, that select all sources of energy, fuel for own company and controlled vehicles. Here you should provide details on the fuel blend of these fuels. For instance, if gasoline used at your facility is 90% gasoline and 10% ethanol, the numeric value of 10 should be inputted into the percentage of ethanol within your gasoline sources. So this is one of the requests in the FEM. Also, as suggested uploads for this question is energy tracking and records that show all the facilities' energy sources of energy, fuel for company-owned and controlled vehicles. So you should upload all the data records that you have regarding your own vehicles' fuels consumption. And looking into the changes that were added into the Cadence 2024. And here we have in total one sub-question, as we saw previously, and is the sub-question attached to question 6. Is your facility able to separate and report energy consumption by facility type for tracked energy sources directly from captured data without relying on estimation? And the intent of this question is for facilities to indicate whether their reporting energy uses split across the different facility types is based on estimations or based on direct measurement of energy sources at each applicable facility type. So you should answer yes if your energy uses for all tracked energy sources is based on data measurement directly at each facility type. Partial yes should be answered if your energy usage for some but not tracked for all energy sources is based on data measurement directly at each facility type, and other tracked energy usage is calculated using an estimation methodology. And you should reply no if your facility uses an estimation methodology to calculate the breakdown of the energy usage for all energy sources across the facility types. So this part is really important because it's where we often find some mismatch when we are looking at your quantitative data. And sometimes you declare that this estimate is calculated, but at the end, the values that you are showing are estimated. So this is really important to be clear also. As level 2 example of questions, here we have regarding the energy audit, as an energy audit being conducted at your facility within the last 5 years. And as suggested uploaded for this question, you should upload a copy of the energy audit report. Regarding level 3, example for the questions, we have question 22, the fossil fuel phase out. Does your facility have a plan to phase out any fossil fuel other than coal? And this has also sub-questions. Have you done any financial analysis cost impact to replace any fossil fuel other than coal as an energy source? What is your plan and what are your steps to phase out? And what is your final date to complete your fossil fuel phase out? So this question was also coming from the previous cadence 2023. So by phase out these fossils means that discontinuing the use of fuel fossils. Replacing a fuel fossil by another fuel fossil, like the example here, phasing out a furnace oil and using diesel for the boiler, this is not considered as fuel fossil phase out. And also looking into the requested documents, so you should have a copy of the phase-out plan, including the details of the specific actions that the facility plans to take to phase out the fuel fossil in case, or any other documentation that will support this plan. As example, we have financial analysis of replacing this fuel fossil, new or proposed equipment specifications, renewable energy solutions. So all of these documentation should be uploaded into the platform in order to support your answers. Regarding the quantitative data, and there are key pieces of quantitative data that are now required, and these are intended to offer more detailed insights into the activities, into the facility's energy use and carbon offset strategy to contribute in a comprehensive understanding of its environmental impact. So the first quantitative is the energy attribute certificates, and these certificates are MRECs or IRECs. Then they are purchased in megawatts. So also when you are reporting the units also into the platform, you should be careful with the units that you are choosing. The second is the carbon offsets purchased, and they are in metric tons of CO2 equivalent. The overall energy usage and annual consumption. So this is also required as quantitative data. And the scope 3 greenhouse gas emission calculations and quantity. Also details on approved science-based target for greenhouse gas emissions. And these are the documentation that is required for the quantitative data. Regarding the data collection, and here the verifiers must review all aspects of the facilities tracking program that could produce inaccuracies, and this includes the initial data collection processes and data sources like the invoices, the on-site meters, the meter logs, the process and tools that were used to aggregate the data, the spreadsheets, the calculations, the unit conversion. And this is very important because sometimes or the unit conversion is not used correctly, or sometimes when you are using one unit in your calculations, and then when you are selecting this unit in the platform, you or select wrong or use it wrongly. So it's really important to take attention to these details, because these afterwards will impact seriously in your environmental performances, in your KPIs. So if any inconsistencies or errors are noted in the reported information, must be corrected whenever is possible, and the detailed comments should be included in the verification and at the data field. And sometimes the verifiers, or very often the verifiers, are needed to add these comments and to correct this data from your self-assessments. So also please be careful with the conversion factor 1000, for example, from kilogram to ton, or for meter cubics to liters. Sometimes you have these wrongly inputted into the platform. Also collect all data year by year into one spreadsheet with different tabs, one for energy, one for water, etc. So this will be very helpful for you to follow up your energy usage and compare you year by year, these months with the same months in the previous year, or overall consumption with the overall consumption of the previous year, and give you a better information where you stand, if you have improved or if you have increased your water or energy consumption, or if you have decreased it and why, and try to understand why you have increased it or why you have decreased it, and which actions you need to take in order to set goals and targets for your energy sustainability and reduction plan. So keep all data complete with a clear indication of units as well, all calculations, baselining, target setting, comparisons, reductions, or increases, as if it is the case. Make sure that you compare your data with the original sources and invoices. Also here is really important that you do this cross-check because again, we often find some mismatch in the data. It is a good practice to have an internal verification done to all your data. So once you have your data collected, it will be good to have a second pair of eyes or a second person that will overlook again into the data in order to see if everything is as supposed to be and accurate. Make also the plausibility test and ask yourself, does this number make sense? If you see a value that stands out because is too high or too low, you should understand if that is possible and try to understand why the reason. Because sometimes it's one typing mistake or is a number that is missing in the value. So it will be very important also to have this as a standard practice in order to maintain all your data always as accurate as possible. Regarding the normalization, so in Higg FEM, the baselines that you are setting can be either absolute total consumption of the reporting year here, showing in kilowatt per year, or can be normalized. And normalized to a product or operational metric like kilowatt per unit of production, that this unit could be kilos, could be pieces. So you will have in this way a normalized baseline. Normalization in this case is recommended for production-dependent indicators, as this provides a better year-over-year comparison of the data and therefore more useful and actionable for analytics. Also, for you setting your goals, you have a better understanding if you say that for producing 1 kilo of garments or 1 kilo of one piece, I will consume X value of kilowatts per piece. So this already gives you a different idea than rather than if you are using the global value. Keep all your calculations in the same table, one spreadsheet. This is useful as referred previously, because you will have an overview and also will be much more easier to assess to the data if you want to compare values with previous years. And follow up, the main aspects to be checked are the completeness, the accuracy, the consistency, the transparency, the data quality management, and also remember to keep all data consistent from the measurements to the baselining to target setting and to follow up. keep the units consistent, compare your baseline and the actual targets. So this was what we had for you from the energy and greenhouse gas emission section, and some added value in implementing the Higg FEM. So as we showed yesterday, here you can see our team map and where we are located across the globe. And in this slide, you can see our number of experts and where they are based across the countries in Bangladesh, Cambodia, China, Egypt, Germany, India, Indonesia, Pakistan, Portugal, Romania, Tunisia, Turkey, and Vietnam. Also, you'll be able to attend or to have self-paced learning in our LES Academy platform, and you may find there also a course for FEM 2024 cadence with more insights regarding the topics that are covered here, because we are not covering all the topics in this session, but in our e-learning you may find them. Having a bit more of information about our LES services and our current services with ZDHC. We are also training ZDHC trainings, providing several trainings in different areas like wastewater management, chemical management system, and best technical industry guidance. Also, we are partnering since November 2024 with CleanChain, that is a ZDHC service provider for generating the in-check reports. And we, leadership and sustainability, are also in-check verifiers. As well, we are approved supply to zero to make the level 2 and level 3 verifications of your supply to zero. So please feel free to reach out to us if you are in need of any of those services. We'll very much appreciate it. So also here we'll be able to see our team, our global team, and also our website, our contact emails and phone numbers. If you need any, if you are having any query, please reach out to us via these contacts.